Hey folks, welcome back to Only the Best Fantasy Novels, and today I actually want to do something very different from anything I've done on the channel before, and just kind of provide an overview on one of my favorite shared world fantasies to enjoy currently, and that is, as you can see from that shelf, Legend of the Five Rings. Over there, yes. Yeah, Legend of the Five Rings. So, this is a series of a shared world series of novels set in the land of Rokugan, which is like pseudo-Japanese. And the whole concept is that you have the Emerald Empire with ruling this land, and major clans and minor clans. And the clans all have an affiliation with they they all have an affiliation with one of the core tenets of the of essentially life. So, for example, you have the Dragon Clan, who are like priests and these kind of thing. You have the Crane Clan, who are like more into commerce. You have the Lion Clan, who are more militaristic. These kind of things. Like each clan kind of has their own specialty. Not that they don't dabble in other aspects also, but those are like what they're known for. And L5R is pretty much just the story of this world and some of the events that has happened over time, and the interaction of these clans and the politics and the conflict and these kind of things. Because obviously, all of these guys are technically on the side of humanity. There's also the world of Jigoku on the land, which is inhabited by all the creepy crawlies, and you have the Crab Clan, who are defenders against that particular terror. So that's kind of the bare bones setup of it. And these novels, they're written by different people. They take place over different swaths of time. They cover different topics. They have different objectives and these kind of things. So so I thought I would just kind of go through where the series is at the moment. It's and this is specific to the books being published by Aconite Books. There are six. There are some other novels. There are some other novels that were published way back, I think in like the early 2000s or so, and this is pretty much like a tabletop RPG setting also. So I'm guessing there's like campaign books and these kind of things you can find related to it, but this is specific to the books being published by Aconite Books currently. But yeah, anyway, like I said, I wanted to dive into the books. Honestly, I think you can start pretty much with any one of these. So whatever strikes your fancy, just go for it and have fun. So one of the first books the very first book that was published actually is Curse of Honor by David Annandale. And this is a standalone book that is essentially a monster horror novel. That it covers what happens when an entity escapes a Jigoku and it invades this castle and starts and yeah, it's a monster flick at that point basically. And this is by David Annandale, who I don't think I need to introduce you to that guy if you're familiar with Warhammer and other shared worlds. So yeah, there's that particular one that you can look at. Then there's my personal favorite, which is the Daijoji Shin mystery novels written by Josh Reynolds, and these are 5 books as of this time. I think they may be completed, but they essentially follow Daijoji Shin, who is an exile pretty much for his clan, and he's relegated to a backwater town that has some semblance of a tiny semblance of importance in terms of commerce, and he's essentially the Crane Clan's representative in the town. And whilst they're ostensibly in exile, pretty much the only reason he even got that post is because his grandfather's pretty like high up in the hierarchy of the clan. Whilst he gets embroiled in this sequence of mysteries where there is a overarching plot spread slightly seeded throughout the 5 books. So those are pretty fun to read, and through his site we do see quite a bit about the other clans that are at play, because this city is not just a Crane Clan city. There are other major clans in play here, so those are pretty fun if you're like more into the whole mystery adventure kind of thing. That might be it. that might more be it for you. The more not mystery adventure, more like the gentleman mystery kind of vibe. That might be a place to start. And then the next sub series I want to talk about is Marie Brennan's 100 series, and this is just a trilogy of books that are they each have 100 in the title. So like the Market of 100 Fortunes, the Night Parade of 100 Demons, and these kind of things. And these books follow the members of two clans who are in an who are in an LGBTQ relationship basically, and they deal with some of the more mystical, / spiritual aspects of this world, because one of them is a member of the Dragon Clan, a priest, and the other one is a member of the Phoenix Clan, and they deal more with spirituality and magic and these kind of things in this world. So between the two of them, they get embroiled in some pretty strange things, and some of the events, like this is a series where we get more. We see more of like pseudo-Japanese folklore and like creatures and these kind of things. So one of the recurring characters in these books is a Bakaneko, which you can Google that and find out for yourself, or what you're dealing with. But yeah, this trilogy is essentially the two of them joining together to deal with one threat, and the way that they become inevitably intertwined as a result, and then their slowly unfolding relationship and that kind of thing. So there's that. And then there's one of the more interesting standalones, and one of the only standalones, I should say, but also one of the more interesting books that's been released so far, and that's Evan Dickens' To Chart the Clouds. And this is a book about cartography of all things, but I really like how it was handled. Like this follows an imperial cartographer who, when she, as part of her trials to become an imperial cartographer, she redoes a map in such a way that it leads to a revelation regarding a parcel of land that it will quickly become very hotly contested between two major clans. And what unfolds after that is just this complex political thriller with a lot of action, as pretty much everyone, like the clans in question who have a stake in the parcel of land, they pretty much start going on the warpath in a attempt to secure this and all. And she gets embroiled in a way to try and resolve the conflict and all of that. So there's that. And then also by Evan Dickens, there's the Ichiban duology, which this one is a bit more strange. This is more like your traditional epic fantasy, in that there's an evil sorcerer who was trapped centuries ago, and and his power was mistakenly unleashed again, and the clan and the war pretty much has to find a way to fight against him, stand against him, that kind of thing. So if you're more into like the whole traditional epic fantasy kind of thing, this might be a duology to look at. And those are like the major books in the that have been released so far to date. Then aside from that, there's 2 volumes of like short stories and novellas that they each cover different clans, both major and minor clans, because in addition to the major clans who are the main political forces in this land, there are a number of minor clans who are allied with the major clans, or unaligned in some cases, in these, and they play different roles in these stories basically. So like, no, if you want something a little short, a little more tasteful, like these are like collected volumes, but I believe the individual novellas are available if you want to purchase them individually. Because they were initially released individually, and then they were combined into these volumes. And then finally, there is the most recent release, which is River of Gold, and this is just a very short collection of basically short stories. It's free, by the way. You can download it directly on the Aconite Books website, and it's a companion piece to the new board game that was released, like I think within the last 2 months from when I'm posting this video. And it just, all it really does is, like, it's because it's meant as a companion to a board game, all it really does is introduces the major factions that will take part, that will be forces in the setting of that board game, and gives us like a little bit of a conflict that runs throughout it, and how each clan interacts based on that conflict. But there's that. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that's been published so far by Aconite Books in the L5R setting. Like they're fun little novels to read now and then. Like don't expect peak fiction. It is a shared world. It is what it is. You know what you're getting into when you read one of these things. Like if you've read Forgotten Realms or Star Wars or Dragonlance or these kind of works, you know full well what you're walking into here. But they're fun. If like I've said multiple times on this channel, I'm a sucker for anything Japanese fantasy related, and these fulfill that little scratch for me. So I have a lot of fun with them, and there hasn't been any announcements on the website as yet. But from what I saw on Facebook post, it sounds like there's plans to do some pretty interesting things with the settings in the near future. So that's, as of the time of this recording, what I've covered is everything that's been announced so far. That's listed on the Aconite Books website. But there's more to come, and I'm very excited to see where this goes. So if you're interested in giving this setting a shot, hopefully something of what I've listed here sounds like it might work for you. Feel free to give it a shot. Feel free to drop a comment, because I don't know anyone whatsoever who's picked up a single one of these books yet, but they're cool. I mean, you have guys like you have people like Marie Brennan and David Annandale writing novels in it, so it can't be all terrible, right? Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this setting. If you're interested in it, give it a shot. If you've read them, drop a comment. If you're interested in them, let me know. And yeah, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.